What's going on, everybody? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at Transformers Titans Return Alpha Trion with Autobot Sovereign. This is, of course, the Titans Return version of Alpha Trion, which is pretty interesting. They went in a really different direction for this guy, and I gotta say, I'm excited about it because it is no secret, if you have watched any of my videos, if you're, a subscriber to my channel, I'm a big fan. I have a big soft spot for beast formers. I really like, beast transformers, and this guy looks like he is right in there. He's coming out swinging. So yeah, Alpha Trion, I can tell right away from how he looks in the window box. He does borrow some elements from one of the other Voyager class figures we've seen out of Titans Return. He's got a very similar head design to Sentinel Prime or Astro Train, who also came out in this wave with Alpha Trion, with the big block that kind of moves the head around, and then it's got the two kind of crest pieces that pop up alongside of it. So that's kind of interesting to see. Not a bad thing necessarily, but it may be that, like, this guy's, like, somewhere in here is, like, sort of a heavy retool of that figure, which would be very strange. Obviously, the entire figure looks completely different, so that's cool. Anyway, Alpha Trion, he turns into this crazy lion monster, and then this kind of okay looking sort of battleship, very like tidal wave kind of looking. But here's Sovereign, and of course there's a little bio here. The Autobots unite with Titan Master partners to power up the battle. Autobot Sovereign carries the energy of Primus, the creator, giving Alpha Trion unknown and immeasurable power. So that's, I mean, they're not kidding around. Wow, somebody's running up and down the stairs. I apologize for that, but anyway, I'm really excited to finally have this guy in hand, so I'm going to go ahead and get him out of the package, and we're going to take a look at Alpha Trion right now. Alright guys, here is Alpha Trion, but first, let's take a quick look at the collector card that comes with this figure, and as you can see, it's a very nice little collector card. Got some nice artwork on the front here, and on the back you can see the ridiculous stats! He is just at infinity for everything, which I feel is a little bit weird. So even if we're going by the mythos that, Alpha Trion is one of the original 13 primes, he'd be a very old, very wise, very powerful transformer, but not omnipotent. Like, what? What is this? Like, his base stats, even without the Headmaster or the Titan Master, infinity? Really? Okay, well, then why? I mean, end of the toy line, right? Like, who's gonna fight him? What are we talking about here? Anyway, here's Alpha Trion in his battleship mode, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's got some flat surfaces. It's got a bunch of little connecting points for the Titan Masters to stand on him, and he's got a little, cockpit up here where, Sovereign can hang out and I guess know everything because he's omnipotent or whatever. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. I do kind of wish the front end was maybe redesigned to give him better feet in robot mode, because I think this mode, this battleship kind of mode, is kind of tacked on. Not tacked on, but like unnecessary, really. So they didn't need to sacrifice the look of his robot mode feet in order to facilitate this specific design of front end. And maybe you'll see what I mean, when we get to it. So this is his vehicle mode. He's got two other modes, so let's just go get right into that. He does have this one little fin down here that acts as kind of a landing gear, and then his kind of lion feet act as landing gear as well. But let's flip this guy up And let's get him into his lion mode, alright? So let's go ahead and remove this sword he comes with. So that's pretty cool. He comes with this sword. It's a really neat accessory. It's very cool. And then he comes with this kind of gun claw looking thing that you can actually seat one of the Titan Masters in, as is, you know, the form of the toy line. And you could also take this item, or this weapon, I should say, and it's got a couple little slots down here, and there are a couple of tabs up here on top of the cockpit, and you can, in fact, plug that right on top of that guy, which will come more into play in the lion mode, but for right now I'm just showing off what you can do with that. So, here we have the vehicle mode here, but we're going to take these flaps and flip them right up like so, alright. Now we're going to, let me try and remember everything that's going on here. So we're going to extend this piece right here. So take the entire midsection, just kind of fold it out. Then we're going to fold this whole thing back. I'm going to take these lion legs and flip them down, and then turn them right around like so. Okay. This section is going to actually come up and accordion just over the top, and then just stick it right on the back, just like that. We're going to take this whole section again and accordion it up this way, as before it was back and down here. So now we're going to accordion it up this way, and we're going to take these two tabs and stick them in these two slots, and that can be a little tricky. You didn't want to do it for me the first time, but maybe, yeah, okay, it looks like it maybe loosened up after a couple of transformations, so it should be alright now. Now we're going to take these legs, flip them like so, and now just bend them down, just like this. I'm going to take these feet, bring them up and tab them together, just like that. You can see there's a tab here and a slot here. Just bring it up, tab it together. There you go, just like that. Then the lion legs come down, just like that. And so we've got, you know, we've got some lion-y legs now. Okay, there we go. And now, the last part of this transformation is basically we're going to take these two halves of the lion head, stick them together, make sure they're stuck together correctly, just like so. Now we take the sword, which has these little tabs on the side here, and we're just going to plug it right into this slot. Just like that. And now, once again, we could take this gun claw thing and we could just stick it right up on top. And that'll kind of keep everything together, close at hand. Well, maybe, mostly. Mostly, they come out at night, mostly. There you go. Sorta, kinda. Alright, well there's his lion mode, as you can see. And it's... it's okay. It's certainly not as strong as some of the beast modes we've seen out of Titan's Return thus far. For example, Wolfwire here, definitely a smaller figure, but still boasting quite a decent size animal mode, and much more posable and much more interesting overall. Just an overall better animal mode on this guy. And even, you know, Mind Wipe and, well, no, you know what? I'd say this guy is probably better than Skull Smasher, Skull Cruncher. But definitely Mind Wipe and Wolfwire are definitely better as far as beast modes. And honestly, you know what, even Skull Smasher at least can open his mouth and kind of wiggle his tail around. This guy is pretty much stuck in this position. You can get the arms up about that far, you can get the paws down, yeah, but that's not really real. I mean, he's hopping, boing, 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 but that's not, it's probably not what you're looking for. tippy toes are required here. But yeah, I mean, other than that, you can kind of swirl this and get his paws kind of splayed out, if that's your thing. But the mouth doesn't open at all. It's just kind of stuck just like that. He's just kind of like, her, all the time. Barely even has eyes, which is kind of weird. It would have been nice, I mean, if this is like attached to his eyes, just make his eyes clear, or just like a totally different color, not purple, something a little more interesting. But yeah, like his back legs, they don't really do, they can move like that, but any way you move the back legs, they're a little weird, basically. But there's really no posability in this beast mode, and it's kind of a shame. It really is a bummer. Because I was so looking forward to this figure, because they've been doing such a great job on all of the beast formers in this line so far. This feels like a genuine step back to me. It's a disappointment, to be honest. But hopefully the robot mode will boast some better stuff. So let's go ahead and get this guy into robot mode. Okay, transforming Alpha Trion is rather simple. We're just going to pop this weapon off one more time. We're going to pop this open and bring out our little friend Sovereign here. Let's take a look at Sovereign. And turn his head so he's got a little more dignity going on here. So, I mean, yeah, he's a little Titan Master. I like that they got a lot of different color on him, even though there's no paint apps, which is a bummer. But they do have a lot of color, which, is okay. Also, no little... Oh, I guess he kind of has little tabs on his arms to keep his head together. I don't know, whatever. We just want to fold everything over, of course, and then you've got yourself a nice little Alpha Trion head. His eyes are silver, which I guess is okay. It blends in a little bit too much with his face. I would have liked to see maybe yellow or something, just a little bit of color to pick out those eyes a little bit, but it's all right. The sculpt is very nice in itself, so I'm not going to complain too much. But you've got Sovereign right here, and we're just going to put that guy right off to the side for the moment. So we're going to take the sword, we're going to pop that out. We're going to start by transforming the legs. So all you want to do to transform the legs is really bring them down like so. Bring the lion legs up to form shins and knee pads. And then bring these feet down and forward. Now, there's one thing I have noticed. There's no heel on these feet, so he can be a little back heavy at times. But I find it's good to just kind of align his feet sort of where this little outcropping is touching this little bump, and that will kind of keep his feet pretty firmly planted and pretty steady. And now you guys can kind of see what I was talking about with how, the design of the ship mode kind of interferes with how his feet could have looked. I feel if you just did away with this weird sort of design at the end of the ship mode, you could have had some really nice sort of feet, or at the very least have this a cutaway where you could like turn it so it's like more flat looking feet. But I mean, again, that's kind of a minor gripe, but it's not really going anywhere with that, so whatever. So next thing we want to do is we're going to unpeg this whole bit and just bring it right around here like so. Just plug it into the back just like that, and that'll kind of keep all that stuff together. But I did that wrong because I'm a fool. So what we want to do first is bring these legs, actually twist them around, and then bring them up like so. Twist them around and then bring them up like so. And then we can go ahead and plug this all together up front like so. So there you go. You got that going on. Now, you can, of course, take the arms or take the claws and do them up like that, which is what it shows, on the packaging and stuff. Or you can leave them down like this, and actually fold them down. And I kind of prefer this because it kind of adds to his sort of side armor here, like his hip skirt here. And it also leaves kind of his waist looking more like natural looking with this kind of curvature and stuff. It's not quite covering up all of that in all of that detail, but again, it's totally up to you. Your mileage may vary, your choices may vary, and that's fine. So next thing we're gonna do, we're actually gonna go ahead and split the lion head right down the center, if I can accomplish such a feat. There you go, just like that. And it's going to just accordion out, and just like that. Accordion out, and it's going to plug into the side, just like that. We're going to bring this whole bit down and rest it on his back, like so. Now we're going to bring his arms out here, just that way, and then rotate his hand. And then rotate his hand. And then basically, you've got Alpha Trion's body ready to go. We're going to take Sovereign and just plug his head in here. And there you go. You've got pretty much Alpha Trion. And he actually looks pretty cool just the way he is. But you can press this little, what I honestly thought was going to be a maximal symbol in his chest. And then that brings up the extra horns on the side of his head, or the crest. So, yeah, there you go. Now, you can take this weapon here. You can plug it into his hands if you want to. It does look a little weird if there's not anybody sitting in it, because it is kind of just a big, awkward, empty thing. You can plug it onto his leg if that is something that makes you happy. But I think it looks best probably right here on the back, where you can also see he's got a little slot for a flight stand. He does have little bits here where you can plug stuff in as well. But I think it looks fine just back here, because then it looks like he's got kind of a full, he's got the hip skirt on the front as well as the back. So it just looks like more armor on him. And you can, of course, take the sword and stick this right in his hand as well. And he's got that going on. So, Alpha Trion. He's got articulation. You can move his head side to side. Oh, his arm fell off right there. You can move his head from side to side a little bit. It is a little bit blocked because of the mechanism to raise those side bits. But you can lower those if you want to, until they click, which can be a little difficult when his head is actually plugged in. So you may have to actually, like, unplug his head. Come on. And then you can get, of course, some more motion out of that, ball jointed head. But, leaving that up also keeps his head nice and steady. This is a bummer. This is the second time it's happened that the little mushroom peg that holds his arm on has fallen out. So I'm not sure if that's an isolated to my copy kind of thing, or if that's something you guys are going to run into as well. Hopefully that's not the case. But other than that, he does have, his arms can swivel just like that at the shoulder. They can go in and out a little bit via that. He does have the bicep swivel, assuming his hand doesn't fall out. He's got a nice deep elbow joint here. He does have a wrist swivel. No waist swivel, unfortunately, just due to that transformation again. He does have the hips. The hips just keep on coming. He's got a thigh swivel, and he's got a knee bend. And this can flip up a little bit to get out of the way. It might even be able to flip up more, but there is like this little peg here that gets kind of in the way, but you can kind of bend it back if you really want to get, some more movement out of his legs. So there is that going on. And of course the knee I told you about. He does have quite a bit of movement in his foot just due to that extra, double jointed stalk for transformation. And honestly, due to transformation, you can get a little bit of a ab crunch out of him, though don't expect too much, because it's not really dedicated. It's not really that amazing, but you know, he's a really cool looking figure. I gotta say, I'm not nearly as impressed with him as I thought and hoped I was going to be, just because he does have a lot of flaws that are, you know, fairly difficult to overlook, like the complete and utter lack of any articulation in beast mode, and the kind of tacked on, you know, not really that great vehicle mode, and of course the QC issues that I've been running into in his robot mode. But that said, I really do like the look and the design of this figure. Like, I want to like it so much. And I just feel that he could have used another pass or two on it to make it a really, you know, solid figure. He's got some really cool design elements. There's a lot of sculpting going on in this guy. He's very, very busy. He's a very active design. It's just kind of a shame that it seems to detract some, or, you know, his design seems to outweigh his actual implementation, which is unfortunate. But I mean, overall, I do like him. I think he's a great display transformer. So yeah, I mean, and you know, he's still fun to mess around with. You just have to watch out for, you know, arms falling off and stuff. But yeah. So take that as you will, come to your own conclusions, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. So that is going to do it for this review, guys. I want to thank you so very much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. It really, really does help me out. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more. I will have more Titans Return figures coming as soon as I can get my hands on them. In the meantime, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.